Hey, I'm Ben Goodhart. This is the Punk Rock Safety Podcast. I'm here with Dr. Dave Proven and almost Dr. Ron Gant.
Almost Dr. Ron Gant.
Dr. Ron.
Almost Dr. What's up? I'm
Let's
excited.
see.
Are you
So-
excited?
I'm excited, Ben. This was your idea, and well, I think this was your idea a decade ago. So
I'm a slow learner, a slow starter. Look, man, it's slow.
so what is it?
Everything.
What are
Yeah, good. Let's talk about it. It's punk rock safety, man. Yeah, look, you'd think that after 10 years that I would have had a lot of time to marinate on what the hell this means. I think I'm going to be a letdown there, but look, man, I like punk. I think it's a cool type of music. I think it's about community. It's about making do with what you have. It's about that sort of DIY mentality and kind of telling people to fuck off with their ideas and figuring out what works. And that to me seems like a good approach to doing safety instead of just reading some shit out of a book and going, this is going to work exactly the way I read it. That's the short version.
I love it, and I think it really connected with me and my misspent youth in the 90s. I was actually doing university education in safety, and going through my punk rock phase that I think lots of people went through, and it's been really fun in thinking about today to think about the connection of those worlds, right? About how we think about organizations and what we're trying to do, as professionals, and I guess that that approach to not having all the answers and trying to find the fun and the joy and the new experiences in life as well.
The fun and the joy is a good part of it, right? It's supposed to be fun. It's okay to make some of this stuff up as we go and not have all the answers. And I don't know, I'm having fun. Ron?
And we're not all like Ron, right? Because I think Ron only got into safety because he didn't make it as a punk rocker.
Yeah, that's it.
Which is really tough. Really tough. Not a lot of classically trained punk guitar players, especially failed ones. So it's and it's tough, Ron.
Yeah, I mean, not everybody can walk the the hard road that I walk. It's fine. But
it's a heavy crown.
No. That's why I'm bald. I ripped off all my hair.
I'd say it just I was gonna say it just rubbed it off, but that's
yeah.
Maybe if you're maybe if you're in Seattle instead of the Bay Area, you might have had a better chance.
Yeah.
That
was what are you trying to say? There's not a big
Operation Ivy was really big and you just couldn't get around it. That's all right. That's sort of ska punk. It's nothing like arguing with people about ska.
Don't get me started on that.
Is it third wave or is there fourth wave? Shut up. Shut up and listen to real music.
Yeah.
Sorry. I don't think we're talking about punk
anymore.
Or safety, as it turns out. Yeah. Horrible podcast.
Let's let Ron talk for a few minutes and we'll gather ourselves.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry,
It's
Ron.
like mute yourselves for a minute. I'll get us back on track. It's fine. No.
Cool.
I love the thing that you said though about fun and joy though, because A, yes, that's missing, but like B, admitting that we're doing this, we're trying this, to me has to come with some humility. Like there's a lot that's done with a lot of pretension in safety, like a lot of like it has this air of science, and I don't mean like the legit safety science stuff. I mean also just like a lot of the crap that's done. There's these words and these phrases and that sounds quasi scientific that people use, and it's a lot of it's just nonsense, and it's okay sometimes that it's nonsense. It's just we don't get to admit that it's nonsense, and so as a result we don't get to question it, for what it is. And I think that sends us into these loops of just crap, which I think is also explains a lot of like pop music, but that's probably that's a different
Formulaic.
yeah,
maybe.
that's a different podcast.
And
Well,
I
it
think
could be
that's
this
it's hard, isn't it? Like I think in punk rock, like if someone doesn't like something, like it just ends up on the editing room floor. Like it doesn't go into an album, it doesn't ever see the light of day again. But in some recent research that have been involved in safety around auditing, and like it really questions why you kind of do that as a safety practice. But then talking to organizations, they just can't take that step, can't take that step to just do something radically different, which is, I think, a bit of a shame for us.
Can I just admit how many audits I've done in my life? It's a lot of audits.
Like how
Is
many?
it just
Okay.
me? Am I the only one?
We can turn this into this can be an AA meeting, Auditors Anonymous, right?
Honest. Look,
I was on an
audit standards board. Look, man, I'm the problem.
That's very punk rock.
I'm on paper doing an audit next week.
Are you?
I swear to God, I have. It's something I have to do. I'm not gonna.
No.
Do.
I love that
do
for
it
you.
the way I want to do it, but yeah.
Didn't take that long to get there.
Yeah, exactly. Nailed it. Drink. But no, for
So
real.
How do you make it? How do you make it work though? You have to do it. I mean, there's some things that we have to.
You have to do.
Well,
which get to me like kind of tying the loop. All this stuff that people do that's pseudo, and they take it very pseudo, like scientific. They take it so seriously, makes it difficult to question. And so, like questioning, like, should we be doing this audit? Like degrades their trust in you, right? So one of the things you have to manage in an organization is confidence, right? Like, is this someone I can actually work with? And so you have to constantly walk the line, I think, in terms of how hard do I push? Because if I just said, okay, that's bullshit though, to everything, eventually people would just stop listening to so you have to like walk this line. And so when I do the audits, I've decided I'm not going to fight that battle yet. So I'll do the quote audit, but the way I do it is I typically try to call it like a ground up audit, right? So to me, it's like the whole management system, the whole process of managing safety at the site should be oriented around supporting work. So I should be able to go to the work, start to look at what that work needs in order to be supported, and find evidence for systems, processes, people, whatever, supporting or not supporting that work, either supporting it or hindering it. So, it's
I think that's a great point. I think Eric Holnagel, so Danish punk rocker, he said that organizations need to both feel safe and be safe. And we just need to make sure we balance that, right? So you're right.
And they're not the same thing.
Right. You need to, an audit can make us feel safe, but make us be no safer, right? But then also with the safety clutter work that we did, we thought it was going to be super easy, like you said, Ron, just to call bullshit on a whole bunch of stuff. But what we actually found is that, it's more about redesigning a process more consistent with its original intention and outcomes, because an audit is there to try to understand what might be brittle or broken before it breaks, right? And that's not a bad thing to do. A pre-start risk assessment, a discussion about how we're going to do this job isn't a bad thing to do. It's just that this corruption of role and task that's happened. So, I don't think it's the trash can. I think it's the back to the whiteboard or Ben's desk. If you just want to scribble on something and you don't.
Sure. No, happy to do it.
Have a white candy.
I think that's the punk rock part of it, right? Is that it's questioning things, and it's not necessarily. Look, man, the bands that refuse to just do anything that the rest of us have to do to survive didn't last very long. They're all gone. They played a couple shows and and I don't know what they're doing today, but it's not that.
Yeah.
But being able to
Cool.
take the things. Now, go for it.
I was just going to go favorite punk band, Ben.
Ah, man, no effects. It's always no effects for me.
Good call.
So
Good call.
it's sort of skate punk, pop punk, but man, that's the one that I always put on. Uh, if it's a little harder, I'm going Propaganda, which is still kind of pop punk,
Cool.
depending on
Just
who
doing
you're
their
talking
just doing their last tour, no effects as well.
Yeah, I'm going. My daughter is.
Rock and roll.
Oh,
I
that's
missed them.
Second to last show. We're going.
That's
Rock.
That's
Ron.
All right. So
Ron.
So okay, so I'm gonna go more. So to me, I like more of the hardcore punk scene, and so like I like a band. One of my favorite like punk hardcore bands is a band called Comeback Kid.
yeah,
I don't know if you've heard of it. Yeah, just love it. Really great breakdowns, but also good fast parts. Rock and roll. I don't even know if they're still around, to be honest, but yeah.
well, they wouldn't let Ron in, and that's sort of the beginning of the end, honestly.
Yeah, and so I blacklisted them.
Perfect. All right, Dave.
Awesome. I'm
What about
Pennywise.
you?
I've always a Pennywise guy.
Yes.
I was a Blink guy, but then everyone became, a Blink person, and that just kind of ruined it for yeah. So, but yeah,
It's
there
all
we go.
still
Ben,
skate
sorry,
punk at that point, right?
yeah, man, I interrupted you. Just got
That's all
curious.
right. I wasn't saying anything smart. Um, Pennywise has fuck authority is
Yeah.
that's the anthem, right?
Yeah.
That's why Dave wants it. I'll say it. He doesn't want Dave doesn't say bad words like that.
The fuck is wrong with
Do you
you?
know?
No,
Do you
look,
know me, Ben? Do you know me or?
I was trying to help this sort of public image thing. It's
Yeah.
fine. Uh, I was admitting before that I was on an audit standards board, and it's one of those things where a lot of people, as you said, they have to do the audit. So, is there a way to make an audit that's the least harmful in terms of maybe making us feel good, but not really impacting safety? And the thing that we really tried to do on that was to make it a performance audit. You couldn't answer yes or no. You really had to have that story from the folks who were doing the work, which is I think is essentially the same thing that you've said. I'm just trying to sound smart and piggyback off of you here.
I think
Is that
no
cool?
problem. And I love that for you. Like, and I think
I love that for me.
being descriptive instead of being normative, I think is the thing to do, right? It's just what is.
Yeah.
Not necessarily what should be, and did you tick this box or yes or no, but just, and what does it mean? Like you said, narrative, what might this mean for current and future safety with this activity or this site or whatever.
Well, I think that's a key piece of it is because, typical auditing is done from are you meeting our standard perspective, like you said, normative, very very black and white. Whereas if you treat it as an opportunity to see how your system is operating in the environment, how it's functioning in real world, like we had an idea of how we wanted this process to work, and then we threw it out into the world, and it started to interact with the world, and now it's adapting and adjusting. This is an opportunity for us to learn from that, both to see where we're adjusting to and what we're adjusting to, which what do we need to change based on that?
Yeah.
Which is kind of interesting because
of adaptation. Sorry, Dave, I'm just going here.
Yeah, go, man, go.
I mean, could we make this about me a little more?
Yeah, of course it is. It's always about you, Ben.
I think every few.
Why am I the only one with headphones on here, by the way? Is it just
you're awesome? That's why. I mean,
I can't get them on over all my hair.
You should have one that's just based around Ben, and it's called the Ben episode. Ben episode. I don't know. We got to work on that episode.
the Benadryl?
Yeah, that yes.
It's gonna put people to sleep is what's gonna happen. Look at that. I
Yes,
just
but the
came up with
documents
that.
sneeze as
Pretty
much.
proud of
and that's what
myself.
matters.
I love
It,
that for me.
Yes.
it clears up rashes.
Look, I was just gonna say, if we're doing an audit and we're talking about those stories, and we're not being aspirational about what the system should do, but we're talking about what it is doing. I think being able to tell those stories of adaptation, that's the fun part of an audit. You know, you're watching work, people are telling you how they're working. They're telling you about, yeah, this time this thing didn't work. Here's how we fixed it. To me, that's a really cool story about performance of the system.
And I think it's interesting you say that, Ben. I think being informative, one of Dave Woods's 4 eyes of how to design a safety organization. And that's one of the questions that I ask executives sometimes when we talk about their audits and their incident investigations. I sort of ask them the question of, what did you learn about your business that you didn't know before you got this report across your desk? And the number of times that they say, well, didn't learn anything. Or some of the things that are in there. Oh, yeah, well, we mentioned all of those things in the audit open meeting, and they're now all in the report. So I think that's a genuine litmus test for some of these processes, which is, how insightful and informative are they being for the organization's decision makers, right? Do we have a greater level of understanding about the functioning of our system as a result of this process? If the answer is yes, then keep doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. When's the last time you were surprised by an audit? Not the fact that the audit was happening, but the results, right? You get the audit findings. You're like, no kidding. I mean,
I was surprised at how many procedures I now need to update.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I bet they're more often disappointed by the audit than they are surprised by it. And you know what I mean? Like they're disappointed by all we got so many reds, on this or something like that, and so many non-conformances, But I think another aspect of this though is not just finding, deviations and non-conformances and all that crap. It's also the tendency to associate where I found the problem with the problem. So like I found someone not doing the thing I expected them to do. That person needs to fix that problem. You know what I mean? Like that's the problem right there. They don't see that as like, okay, wow, that's actually interesting. That's not what we expected. Back to Dave Woods, I would think Dave would call that's an anomaly. And we should treat it as an anomaly in our system. An anomaly by definition means that the system's not working as we expected it to. So what does that mean about our system? Whereas too often people just treat that as, oh, and that's just an example of people not following the rules. And I think that's a huge mistake. And so that inhibits the learning because they already think they know what the problem is. I don't have to learn about it because I just need to fix it.
I can close the finding.
Yeah,
exactly.
I think that's really, I mean, that's one of the really strong logics in an organization. I mean, organizations want certainty. They want fixes. They want solutions to things. So an audit that just raises really complex challenges, you need to have the climate and the leadership in the organization that's prepared to sit on, really, really difficult challenges and, problems that may not have easy answers. For every complex problem, there's a simple solution that's wrong, right? So,
there you go. Well, it's sort of funny too when you see audits on a recurring basis, right? Like in the US, a DOT audit is a pretty big audit, or DOD or any of these things. And you've got to do it every so many years. Ron, you mentioned one that you've got to do. It's probably on a recurring basis. And there's almost always the same sort of flavor of quote finding or nonconformity. And I think that's the funny part, isn't it? It's that confusion of whatever you see and the actual issue in an organization, if it's even an issue. It's that confusion of the problem with some sort of nonconformity in the language of an audit.
Mm-hmm.
It's an unfortunate way of framing it, nonconformity, isn't it?
Maybe we should take the Living Ends advice and go with the second solution instead of the first solution.
Maybe
the
third?
What?
The Living End. I mean, I don't know where punk rock starts to be, but the Living End, second solution. Come on.
this is what's tough. Proven, you're getting really, it's very serious for a while, and then all of a sudden you just dip back. It's hard for us to keep track of.
Yeah. I'm not a doctor yet, so I'm not that smart.
Well, shit,
Uh,
yeah.
That's right, man. We're here to. Well, this is just all about helping you get through, right? To graduation.
We're
This
we're here as
counts
long
as
as you
dissertation,
need
doesn't
us. Yeah, I think this is it. Yeah.
This is extra credit, man. Like you're talking about Dave Woods, craft brewer up in Ohio, and I reckon he'd like this extra credit.
If this comes in up in my defense, like I'm gonna be so fucking pissed.
I'm
You know what's going to be
I'm
funny
gonna
is
bring
when
it
you
up.
rock up to do your defense, and Ben and I are sitting there on the panel.
100%. And we're bringing it up. I'll go up there. I got nothing but time for you, Ron.
Yeah.
I'll
That's what I'm
clear
talking
my
about.
schedule. And
I
that's
will
what makes a defense, right?
1,000%.
Yeah. When there's
I will
feats of strength,
1,000% airing of grievances.
That's
I'm
right.
sorry, I'm thinking of something.
So
No,
this
that's it.
this podcast got a bit of a kick along. Without making you depressed again, Ron. Ben and I were recently hanging out in Oz, and
Why wasn't I invited?
Super weird
well,
that Ron wasn't there.
just to be clear, I'm pretty sure in a WhatsApp chat that you were well and truly invited. And talk about we talk about safety as an emergent property of work. There's one of those things which is, hey Ben, you should come over, and then getting texted an itinerary like 2 hours later. Hey, why not? Very punk
I
rock
think
of
that's
you.
called applied stupidity, but it's fine. I'll take emergent property of work.
I think there's a lot of stupidity.
Property of what? Why the fuck not?
Why not?
Yeah.
You need to be, Ron. You just might need to be a little bit more spontaneous.
So I need to finish this damn degree is what I need to do, and then I'll be out there.
Yeah. Yeah,
Well, we're going to be out. Well, you're not going to be finished before we're together at Seahole.
No, I'm not. Hopefully I'll have my dissertation done by then. I'm hoping to start writing soon. So
do you want us to hold a reading for you?
Yeah.
I mean, we can just do a page turn.
No, hopefully this episode doesn't come out until like afterwards or something, because I don't want Seahole to know that actually the session I put in for is just my reading my dissertation to see how it lands with people.
Can't you just now? I assume now, like, I mean, Ben and I sort of did our dissertations in the pre-AI days. I assume you could just say into your AI, write me a 70,000 word dissertation on resilience, and just by Ron Gant, and just submit it. You can't do it like that.
Phone it in.
Well, I'm doing that.
Phone it in. I think it's fine. They're getting really good, Ron.
Voice to text.
Yeah,
Dave Woods.
I don't think anyone's gonna know.
Sure, one of the things that would actually have him murder me is if I had AI do my dissertation. Like Mike Redko, Dave Woods, they would find me and they would just ritualistically sacrifice me to some.
That's
AI
very
god.
Punk rock.
That is punk rock.
Yeah,
I haven't been to
this is getting.
I haven't been to a sacrifice in a long time.
Yeah, this is like Gwar territory, which I don't think qualifies as punk, but there is a lot of spraying blood, and I think that's important to remember.
It does get messy, there's some.
Sure.
Yeah,
you're gonna want to take a wet nap to a Gwar show.
So how was Australia though? Like for real? Like
it was great.
How much did it suck?
It was great while Ben was here.
And now it sucks.
Now it's even better.
Now it's back to normal. But no, Ben, what did you think? I mean, what did you think?
It was really good. Here's the thing. I was trying to tell, I thought maybe it was just me. It might just be me. I get grumpy. Well, sort of as a general rule, but also at conferences, you go and it's like the same thing over and over again. And you're going, holy shit. We've been talking about this for 10 years and nothing has happened. And this was not that sort of conference. This is the people who are kicking in doors and doing cool shit all the time and then just telling stories about it on a stage, and sometimes playing piano and singing about it, which I didn't expect, but was amazing. I think that was Dave's highlight. also.
Yeah, the only letdown was, like the putting on the music festival and not actually getting, the opportunity to crowd surf. Like for everything that we tried to do that night, in the pit, we just couldn't get enough safety professionals for me to hop in my little inflatable boat and sort of surf around around the crowd. So that was
Did
a bit
you
of a
have an
letdown.
inflatable boat?
Well, like an inflatable boat with a little, canoe paddle or oar or whatever you call it stateside. And just, how, and then people can kind of just pass you kind of along and,
I don't know why you need. I've never seen a boat.
You've never seen that at a music festival. Have you not been to
No,
any
you
music
just
festivals?
you put your body on the.
Yeah, that's I have
No,
you're talking about right now. Like I'm with
Well,
Ben
I mean,
here.
is this?
all right.
I think you're making it harder than it needs to be. I think you
Yeah,
just
like in Australia,
just
like
jump.
just a touch less invasive, right? Like,
I think
so you literally like you jump onto like an inflatable boat.
one of
I
those
don't-
little like you take to the beach and you paddle
Sure.
around in a. Have you not seen?
I feel
No,
like
I know
we
what you
know what you're
like-
talking about, but it's a stupid idea. And then Ron's just trying to make it seem better. I don't know.
Thanks for like
I'll
not
have to
making
do
me feel like judged or devalued or disengaged from the conversation with all your kind of how it should be. You make a good you make a good chair of an audit standards board, Ben. I reckon.
Oh man, just amazing, amazing at it.
It's like,
Yeah.
why the fuck are you doing that?
Yeah, wrong. There's only one right way, and yeah, that's a nonconformity. Put your boat away.
Yeah, put your boat away. Do you have a risk assessment for that boat?
Yeah, exactly.
You said it was less invasive, but the invasive part, I think, is a feature, not a bug.
Oh, you think
get
that's
in there.
that's a value added component?
Well, it doesn't happen to me naturally a lot, so I figure
A bunch of strangers
if
just
I'll take what I can get.
walking down the street.
A whole-
it's
a
fucking
whole
ordeal.
lot of strangers. Yeah.
A whole lot of safety professionals on the one
Seahole.
in the one mosh pit.
Lot-
I'd Seahole. You think we can? I mean, it is Nevada, right? So
Well, I mean, yeah, you can get people to touch you in Nevada, but that's going to cost a little money.
They call that full contact in Canada, I think.
but no, Ryan, we did music festival down here in Oz. We did safety stock at this conference, and I'm still going to go out there and say best conference dinner conference event. It was pretty all time.
I heard it was great.
It
I even got to
would
wear my pink "Safety is Sexy" t-shirt. Maybe I'll get that on the pod one week.
I hope
Did I
so.
get?
I didn't get one. I was there. I didn't get one.
All
I
right,
thought we were past one. I could be wrong, Ben.
I'll bring some
No,
to.
we were-
I'll bring some to Banff. You going up to Banff, Ben?
I think you know the answer to this. I'm in fact not going to be in Banff.
Oh,
Apparently,
that's-
everyone else got the
Why
memo
not?
that you actually have to submit something. Excellent. For the record, I got a little wound up that I didn't get invited, and apparently you don't get invited. You have to ask.
Ben, yeah, big. I just call it Ben, big time, good heart. You just couldn't.
Prime time.
Prime time.
I'm going to start wearing a headband.
So I'm going to swing by and see you in Denver just after Banff, and I'll debrief and I'll let you know what you missed, and I'll bring you a shirt, and I'll come in via LA, Ron. I'll find you as well. I'll do a few stops.
I was gonna say, what are you gonna do? Just like throw it out the plane? I mean, if you go into a Boeing, they'll just let you open the door. Apparently,
Maybe if I'm wearing a
You
pink.
don't have to open it. It's already open. Suck the door out.
Just remove a couple of bolts.
first convertible aircraft ever.
I feel like someone's shirt got sucked off in one of those anyway. So it's entirely possible if you're wearing one, it's just going to find its way to Ron anyway.
Oh,
I think it's too soon for this, honestly. I think Boeing, if they'd done a few more audits,
They should have paid much more attention to the size of the bolts. I totally agree with you.
is that right?
is that what it is? I actually
I
don't
don't
know.
know.
I haven't read the report yet because
I don't know. Ben's the aviation guy.
Yeah.
Ben, what did they do wrong?
They should have kept the door on I think is
I'm
sort of
That's
digging deeply into my expertise here on
one of the
airplanes.
classic blunders.
Corrective. Yeah, I can see that corrective action. Check that all of the doors are on all of the other planes.
Put door in.
Is door on?
Yeah, which is it's a great example though of a shitty audit question is a yes or no question. I mean, to bring this back to where Dave started, which was let's get real serious about audits, and research, and feeling safe and not being safe.
Yeah.
Yep, all the doors are on. No more plane crashes.
Check.
Check.
Does everyone know that doors should be on? Yep.
Oh, add it
They
to the
love
induction
doors.
training.
Done.
I
That's more training.
Yeah, more
Checklist.
training. 1
Do a
plus 1 equals
checklist.
10.
Safety's easy.
Oh man, it couldn't be easier. I was this reminds me of a video I was watching. And you may know by the quote at the end of it whose video I was watching, but at the end of it, he kept saying, and that's it. And that's safety culture. So easy. So easy. It couldn't be easier. And I thought, man, I wish I knew that.
Yeah. I had a very senior executive when I used to have a real job, like Ron. Ron has a real job, but Ben and I, we don't really have jobs. But when I had a real job, I had an executive say to me, your role as the head of safety, you must just have the easiest role in the organization. And I was like, super curious, right? I'm like, well, that's not quite my lived experience. So there's something for me to learn here. And he just said, well, like, we're so clear with our organization that safety is our first priority. And we're so clear that we don't have a budget for safety. And we're so clear that it's really important that we do it. You just must have all of the senior leaders and managers just calling you all the time just to ask, how can we be safer? What can we be doing? And I was like, you need to spend a little bit more time outside of the office. But it was funny, right? Like that was the actual paradigm that this must just be the easiest thing to get right because it could not be any more black and white and clear to me as a senior exec, right? But I don't know a safety person that has that experience.
I haven't met one.
I
mean, maybe Ron.
Maybe Ron.
Yeah, it's easy for me.
People listen to people they like, right? The cult of personality.
But like for real though, that like there are safety people out there that think it's supposed to be that easy if it wasn't for these darn kids, like
these meddling kids.
They, and whoever that is, whether it's like, if only we can get the workers to follow the rules, or if only we can get managers to buy into it, then it would be easy. I've literally heard safety people say, no, safety's easy. Which
just do what
blows
I told
my
you.
Mind. Are we doing the same job? Are we talking about the same thing?
And
do you think
No.
does it have anything to do? I don't know. I don't know if we have time to discuss this. This will be episode 2.
That's a whole other podcast.
Maybe, but this idea that that people sort of promote themselves out of operational roles because safety is going to be easier, and they get to tell people what to do, and I don't know that you see that a lot in the technical fields that we work in. Should safety people should they have to have some sort of education or credential, or does this fall under the punk rock thing where you go, look, man, you do what you need to do to make it work?
So I reckon that is a good episode 2 topic, Ben. I think this is like episode 2 is just emerged out of episode 1. How punk rock our safety. But yeah, I think
You're welcome.
I don't know about yeah, I love that for you. I don't know how like what you see, but working with a few organizations that have had some really bad incidents lately. And I don't know if these two things are correlated, right? The fact that I'm doing some work with them and they're having really bad stuff happen, but hopefully not.
I
But
think
this,
so.
sorry?
I think so.
Yeah, well, look,
Yeah.
hey, could well be. But just this narrative or mantra that just goes, we've just got to go back to basics, around safety. The number of times I've heard this in the last few months, let's just go back to basics.
Yeah.
And just simplifying a problem that, is getting more and more complex. So do you guys hear stuff like that?
All the time. Yeah. All the time.
All the time. I think there's probably part of it that makes sense because of this like weird gravitational pull of doing those audits for years and adding more training and adding more stupid policies and procedures. And it's this, you're trying to wade through all this stuff just to get your job done. So I sort of understand the idea of get back to basics from that perspective. I don't think that's what they mean. That's
No.
what I choose to hear.
So I like
I
the
think-
idea of focus and clarity, but when back to basics turns into competency training, rules and procedures and risk assessment and inspection and audit and leadership in the field and these things, if nothing changes, right? Like, just doing more of the same and expecting something to radically be different is definition of insanity, right? So I think that's the thing that I struggle when we go back to basics. We know what we need to know, and we've now just got to make sure we're doing it. It's not a complete picture, not a complete approach for me. So, but yeah, we've been hearing it a lot. So I was just curious about what you guys see.
Well, now, to me, I think when I hear that, I've never heard. I'm trying to think if this is true, but I can't think of a time I've heard a frontline worker ever say that, or if they ever said it, that it meant the same thing as like a manager or a safety person meant when they said it. Because like to me, when managers and safety people say we just need to get back to basics, they're talking about get back to, like you said, follow the rules, follow the procedures, follow our standards. Whereas the workers, when I've heard them express that sort of sentiment of like we are missing the boat, or we're getting things too complicated, they're typically talking about it almost in the opposite sense, in the sense that you were talking about it, Ben, where it's like we are not doing the things that we need to support the work.
Yeah.
And I think that disconnect is the key there, right? Like getting back to basics. Okay, but who does the basics support? Is the question. Does it support the work?
Who gets to define what's basic?
Yeah. And I think I like that because I think I was involved in a project that did that. Managers were talking about needing more training and more procedures and more rules, and then went and asked the workforce what they needed. And it was really useful because I went back to managers and said, not a single person asked for more procedures and more rules and more training. They said, we need to communicate more openly. We need to plan the work better. We need to get better quality or more equipment and resources and time. And, it was all about, like you said, Ron, about, making the work better and better set up for success. That all that safety sort of stuff is not really connected at the front line in making work more effective, right? And we know that, but it's a really nice paradigm to, I guess, when you ask people what they need to make their work better. I'd challenge anyone to find a frontline team that asks for more safety stuff.
100%.
And the other thing that I find in terms of questions in the field is, if you ask the front line, what could we do to make this work safer? I usually get hit with nothing, because in their mind, when they see safety, they think about the company's version of safety is all the meetings, all the forms, all the things. So if I say something, I'm going to end up with more of this stuff. And I've tested this a few times in the field where I've asked, is there anything we could do to make this work safer? And people go, no, we're doing everything we need to be doing. And then you ask a question, is there anything we could do to make this work better? And there's just a flood of ideas, right, about how to make it better. So there's a nice one to test, because people always have ideas for how to make it better. They just don't necessarily connect better and safer together.
Yeah,
I know this will probably be another episode unto itself too, but like a lot of times when people
Episode
talk
3.
about getting
Episode.
out and yeah, getting leaders out in the field, that's one of the questions that they want them to ask. Like, hey, is there anything we can do to make your job safer? And
Yeah.
like almost invariably, in my experience, the leaders come back frustrated because people aren't telling them anything. And I think part of it could be just the climate that's created by that. But part of it is like what you said, Dave, like it's we are forcing the workers to have the conversation we want to have, not forcing ourselves to have the conversation that the workers want to have.
I like that for episode 3 doing a leadership one, because it's like, well, but I've got an open door policy. Anyone can walk into my office anytime they want and raise something. It's like, no, that's an abdication of leadership. You've got you got to go and ask. You got to go to the work.
Go out. The door's already open. You can walk out of it.
Yeah, you can walk out.
I mean, it's half the work is done.
Funny.
Get your ass out the door. Dave, it's funny that you brought that up. The difference in asking that, what do we do to make it better? What do we do to make it safer? Because you can ask that the other way around too, which is, what am I asking you to do that makes it harder to do a good job? And I think for a lot of folks, we're sort of biased toward the negative things, right, at work. Like, it's a lot easier for me to think of shit that drives me crazy at work than it is to think of improvements, especially when you've been conditioned for years, because a lot of folks have done this for years, right? They've used up all their great ideas, and everyone goes, okay, cool, why don't you shut up and color? And so they just sort of started thinking in that way that's maybe biased toward the negative. I don't know. I like to ask that one, or like, what am I not seeing that I need to know about, right? Like, I'm out here today. It looks pretty cool. I know it's not always cool. What's a really shitty day look like?
Yeah, I think, well, maybe there'd be like, maybe someone might come up with a nice set of kind of like 4D type questions along the difficult line.
Man.
Maybe there's an idea there, Ben. You could do something with that difficult. So
could we do 5? Could we do 5Ds?
No.
No.
I don't know.
What's the 5th D?
Wow.
What is it?
Well, I hadn't thought that far ahead. I just thought maybe it sounded really good.
Doubly stupid. But the difficult
one
is
to dumb. It's like dodge, dive, dip, dive, and dodge.
Dutiful.
That could be a good idea. We just throw wrenches at each other all day. What would be a dumb thing to do? Throw wrenches at each other. But the idea of difficult, I really, I love that for you, Ben, because like when you
I should have seen it coming.
Because human, there is one saying that I kind of really like, which is, make the safe way the easy way. Because we know that all individuals are always going to try and seek to do things more efficiently, and we talk about shortcuts or workarounds, and usually it's just about getting work to be more efficient. So thinking about the difficult parts of jobs are likely to be, the ones that are the most dynamic, have the most diversity, create the most goal conflict, and a bunch of things. And then there's a human and organizational tendency to try to make things more efficient, right? Which is likely to result in a whole bunch of different adaptations that are going on. So don't like all those 4D questions, but I do like the difficult question. Yeah.
I feel like
I agree.
I thought you were going to go down the path of behavior-based safety, and I got pretty excited for a second. So I think maybe that's can that be episode 4? Given that you like Pennywise, and we've already talked about Pennywise has a great song, Fuck Authority. And I think what they meant really was to talk about probably behavior-based safety. If I had to guess, is what they were singing about.
Yeah, or just to have another crack at a Living End go. There's a nice song, Prisoner of Society. So we could just have a Prisoner of Safety kind of theme song or something.
Okay.
This is it.
Boy, I love that for us.
Yeah. So that's fun. So you can so our 4 or 5 subscribers that we might have by episode 4 could look forward to a behavior-based safety conversation.
That's what's up.
They're gonna stay awake. If I had to guess, the whole time. for months.
For months. All right. So what's coming up? What's going to come up next? So what did we agree for the second one? Oh, the safety profession.
Safety profession.
Yeah.
Only
Capability.
someone has written anything about that. Dr. David Provan.
AI. I'll do some. I'll do some searching. I'll come up with a transcript, right?
And I love this for you. I'm just setting you up. We're really just going through Provan's greatest hits right now. This is sort of a comeback show.
Well, I did. Well, knowing that that you guys are both involved in so many audits. That's why I just threw that out there for this first episode to make you both feel sort of comfortable in the conversation. Like we haven't all been podcasters for, I did pre-COVID podcast, when podcasts weren't a thing.
Back before everyone had a podcast. Yeah. I mean, look, if we're honest though, I was thinking about this, ages ago. And I think thinking about it is almost as good as doing it. You think about
it's the thought that
think
counts.
about safety a lot. It's really easy when I think about safety, and that's why Ron's job is the easiest.
Well, you did act on it. You did go and get punkrocksafety.com. So like you took some steps.
Yeah. Look at you. You're a go-getter.
Not the full credit answer.
But you showed you working.
It's
and what's more punk rock than starting a podcast in 2024? I gotta be honest with you.
Yeah, nobody's thought of it. It's crazy. Although we do have video. I don't think the kids have thought of video yet. Is that what it is?
Is that what this is?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think video there's this thing I heard about YouTube. I don't know if you guys have seen it. It's a video sharing platform. It's going to be big.
The idea of anything with that sort of name. But I love that for you.
Oh,
I was just making sure that I had referenced the right video sharing site.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Do people call things vlogs anymore? Does that
Vlogs.
exist, or is that?
Yeah,
that's an Australian derogatory term for a group of people.
A vlog?
No, a flog. Those safety professionals, a bunch of flogs. Is that not a US thing?
No.
Oh.
No.
Use it in a sentence. There's your mission for this week. Flogs.
I'll try to
use
use
it. Urban Dictionary. Look it up.
All right.
Okay.
But vlogs. I think vlogging's a thing. I had a vlogging camera, but I got too busy with punk rock safety to make it happen.
What camera are you using right now?
What camera? I'm just using a laptop, man. I wanted to be able to see you folk while we were talking, but I'll get a better setup. I'm looking for inspiration ideas for the punk rock safety backdrop. I'm going to start collecting different shit for the maybe listener ideas. Maybe like if you go on one of those podcasts and then your guest brings you a gift or something. Maybe we can just collect.
Are we gonna have guests?
Yeah, well, there's sort of like a fourth spot in the. We should.
Yeah, I feel like. Yeah, it's a great idea. Maybe.
I mean, you at least need vocals, guitar, bass, and drums, right? We can't have a three-piece. I mean, Blink kind of made it work, but
you could do you could do anything if you believe in yourself.
Yeah.
Fucking punk rock. You can do whatever the fuck you want.
You can do anything you want as long
as thanks for the reality check, guys. Yep. Back on the.
And what are you doing? Are you vocals? Is that what's happening?
I'm nothing. No, I can do anything. I'm nothing if not adaptive, right? So just give me a role, give me a week, and I'll step up then.
That was sort of the beauty of punk, though, isn't it? Like a bunch of people that didn't even know how to play instruments to start.
Yeah,
it sort of sounded like that.
It's kind of like Dave Grohl, right? You just pick a band and you play guitar in one band, and then you go play drums in a different band, and you sing a little bit as well.
I feel like it's just like that. It's just that easy. Ask Ron. Like that has not been my experience, but
punk rock is easy.
It's all easy. Culture easy. Can't wait. Is that 5?
Oh, that's got to be another one.
Oh, you want to do a culture one? So we're going to do a safety profession one, a leadership one, a behavior-based safety one, a culture one. And then maybe 1 or 2 more for season 1, hey?
Yeah, it sounds good.
Yeah, maybe a live one from Seahole.
Yep.
Maybe conclude this. Yeah, that'd be good. Maybe. Yeah, let's do a live one. I'm going to bring some microphones. Bring some microphones. I'll bring my vlogging camera.
We're gonna do it with those vlogs?
we can sit by the pool or something in Vegas, or sit on the balcony and
with your vlogging camera.
Vlogging. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. You want to
It's
watch
the
your
accent.
pronunciations because
You're vlogging a bunch of vlogs with your vlogging camera.
It
perfect.
doesn't go on YouTube.
That's the other one.
It's a different one.
That's a different platform. So does that mean we're done?
That's it? I think we did it. If we were going for 30 minutes, we waved bye-bye to that a while ago.
Did we?
Oh, yeah.
By a little bit. Not by much. It's good.
What are you talking about? When did we start?
Oh, well.
I don't know. Hey, look, I feel like somewhere in here, though, we should maybe acknowledge the band who made the music for our intro. I mean, it feels important. That's Faya, by the way, out of San Antonio in the great state of Texas. And they're on tour in like 3 days. You should go check them out.
Awesome.
Faya. FEA.
I love that for you and for them.
That means ugly if you don't speak Spanish.